Business and content has been going hand in hand since the beginning of time. The biggest content creators today who started in their bedrooms have some of the biggest business empires to date. Let's say Mr. Beast, for example. He created a virtual restaurant, his own chocolate bar, and even his own lunchbox to buy Lunchables. Or let's say KSI. KSI and the Sidemen created a clothing brand, a restaurant chain, a cereal, and even their own vodka. KSI himself created his own boxing company called The Misfits, and he's a part of a business that we're all familiar with, Prime Hydration with Logan Paul. But the tides are changing, and I'm predicting the future's not brighter for the men, but for the women. And there's two women in particular that we're going to discuss today that prove that statement more than ever. And if men had control over business and content for the last 20 years, I think the women can be even more dominant for the next 20 years. This is the genius behind the business of Valkyrae and Pokimane.
All right, welcome back to another episode of The Genius Behind. I know I did not post a video last week. I was supposed to post something, but I didn't. But we are back, and I'm going to hit the ground running. This next 5 weeks is already planned out, so I can't wait to get started and, start making videos and finish this year out strong for you guys. But today, this is actually super exciting because this is a different type of video. This is the, oh fuck, I spoiled it. I keep doing that. Anyway, but this is the genius behind Valkyrae and Pokimane's businesses. Now, usually I'll do a genius behind videos and I'll talk about why creators are successful, the impact, how they changed the course of Twitch, what makes their brand so unique, why they have such a huge following. But for this one, we're gonna talk about Valkyrae and Pokimane's businesses because they're actually super excellent and great entrepreneurs. And we're gonna dive into some of their businesses, how they relate to their platforms, and why I think the females of Twitch have an argument to be better businessmen than the counterparts, which are their males. And yeah, we're gonna get into it today, so I'm excited. Before we get into anything, I have to tell you who we're talking about. So who is Valkyrae and Pokimane? The biggest female Twitch streamers for about a decade. Pokimane, she came up off of League of Legends gameplay. Valkyrae came up off Among Us. She blew up, and now they are the faces of Twitch, especially for the females. If you're the biggest of any group, you have the argument to be one of the best. So if you're like one of the best football players of all time, you have an argument for being one of the best athletes of all time. And since they are one of the biggest female Twitch streamers of all time, they have an argument to be one of the best streamers of all time. They are extremely successful entrepreneurs. We're getting into why, the businesses they have, and why I think they have such an advantage when it comes to businesses. And last point, they are icons, and I mean this sincerely. I think that their reach is far beyond Twitch. For Pokimane, she's been in multiple music videos, and she was on Forbes 30 under 30 list. If you make Forbes under any circumstance, that's huge. That's a big goal of mine. I hope to make this list as well. It's just when you think female and you think of Twitch, you think of Pokimane, right? Valkyrae, she's actually been in even more music videos than Pokimane. She's been in a lot of music videos and TV shows. She's voice acted for a lot of different cartoons and things like that.
You dirty bots! The rodent is lying. Let's toast him.
I didn't steal the shard, but
Come on, boss. Let me tear the scoundrel limb from limb. How did they find us? Can't be a coincidence. Not on my watch, automaton.
She has also been in Forbes 30 under 30. And one of the craziest things she's ever done, so she was on the cover of Vogue. You know how big a deal that is. And that just goes to show, you can't just be a great streamer and be in the cover of Vogue. You have to have a different type of pool, I think, for that. And she's also Filipino. I don't know how many Filipino streamers are. Of course, Valkyrae is the biggest one. And it's great representation for the Philippines. So that's who they are. And let's get into some of their businesses. Okay, Matthew, you say that females are better businessmen than the men. And why is that? So her most recent business venture she opened, which this is her baby, this is what she's gonna do for the rest of her life probably, is Hi Studios. What is Hi Studios? Hi Studios gets different artists, mangakas or authors, and they provide tools for them to create their manga or web comics. Monsters We Make, I read the first few chapters. I really liked it. I think that the colors are good. I like the comic style, and I like the dialogue, and the action scenes are cool. And I think there's cool character designs too. This is her baby. This can really be super duper successful in the long run in the future, because there's a lot of great artists and mangakas and authors out there that have aspirations to create their own mangas and comics, especially with the influx of like anime getting more popular, manga getting more popular. And I feel like Valkyrae is willing to work with different artists to get their whatever comic produced. And I feel like she can make a lot of money or give a lot of exposure to smaller artists if they can use Hi Studios. I'm sure that, you know, Monsters We Make is just one of many comic books she has in the making, but this is a really good medium because creativity is at a premium right now because AI is taking over, obviously. Not taking over, but AI is on the uptick, and original creative art is even more valuable because of AI. If you open a studio that rewards creativity like a Hi Studios, then this can be very important in the future. Does that make sense? Valkyrie's been a huge fan of anime and different type of comics and cartoons and stuff, so it just goes right along with her passion. She's the founder of it too, so she made it, and I'm not too sure what her daily responsibilities are. I'm sure it's like meetings and maybe trying to get brand deals and trying to work with different artists and reaching out to different people, trying to see if they want to get their whatever comic animation produced by Hi. This is her latest business venture, and I feel like it has one of the highest ceilings because creativity is at such a premium right now in the world. So yeah, Hi Studios. All right, her next business that she has, her most lucrative one, is 100 Thieves. She's a co-founder of 100 Thieves, and can you guess how much 100 Thieves is worth? Not worth $1 million, not worth 100 million. It's worth 400. It's worth 460 million, and she's the co-founder of that. So I don't know how much money she's getting from it, but I'm sure she's getting paid handsomely. And this was very smart of her because she got brought onto 100 Thieves when she was just creator, and she stayed there 10 years. Some people came in, some people came out, and she worked her way up, and she built quite the portfolio and trust within the organization for her to become the co-founder of a multi of a 9-figure plus $500 million nearly organization in 100 Thieves. Now you can say like, oh, if you just stay in an organization long enough, you'll easily become one of the top officers or top members. Like, no, obviously not. She must have did something, negotiation. She must have proved something. She must be business savvy to get a position in one of the biggest gaming orgs in the world. And you know, gaming's only getting bigger. You know what I'm saying? So this is worth 160 M's, and I don't know how much money she's getting, but it's so smart for her to own some of this. And she can really stay there for as long as she wants. It helps fund her other stuff, which is Hi. And yeah, that's another business venture that's super successful. All right, her YouTube contract. Now, obviously YouTube is not her business, but this is more indicative of the brand and the platform she's built, and YouTube being willing to give her this YouTube contract that is well over $1 million, I think. There was only a select few people selected to get the YouTube contract. I know it was her and Ludwig for sure, but I'm sure there's many others. And for her to get a YouTube contract of $1 million, get brand deals off of that, and use this money to pay for Hi Studios. A lot of other people could have got this YouTube contract and spent it on content, which is good, but she took the more business savvy route and built something she's always wanted to do that'll last long past her, and she can do this once she retires from making content if she decides to. So yeah, the YouTube contract worth millions, and because of the platform she built, she was able to get a contract like this. She's also a Gymshark ambassador and an Alienware ambassador. Obviously, again, these aren't businesses, but these two are just kind of like more a testament to her character and how she's carried herself in content, and always getting these brand deals or getting these opportunities to represent different brands. So these two are because of the platform she's built, and these two are hers. And I think it's really smart how she built her business portfolio. All right, and we're on to Pokimane Businesses. One of her biggest businesses is obviously OTV. OTV is a content group, and I'm not sure how much they're worth. I think Disguise Toast said in the Q&A he's worth 8 mil. Could be a bigger number or could be a lower number. I'm gonna put the video here.
You can count that.
5 million?
After losing 2? That's solid.
The Among Us and Facebook days were good to me.
If one of the members worth that much, I don't know how much the org can. It'd be like up to 20 M's, 80, 30 M's. But OTV is a super successful content group. One of the biggest streaming groups up to date for sure. and Pokimane co-owns the entire organization. One thing I'm recognizing between Pokimane and Valkyrae is that they have really good foresight into what is going to be successful. Like, obviously, I don't think anyone predicted for 100 Thieves to be a nearly $500 million company, but it is, and Valkyrae is a part of it. And OTV is one of the biggest content groups in the world, and I don't know if they had the foresight to predict that, but Pokimane and Valkyrae are both a part of that, and I'm sure that is lucrative for both of them. And I keep bringing up money. I don't want this to be a money-centric conversation that they just know how to make the most money. But I feel like in business, money is pretty indicative of the acumen that you have in business. Like, you could have a great idea for a business, but if it doesn't really make money, it can be kind of hard to sustain that business. So thinking of something creative and lucrative is a skill. And I think Valkyrae and Pokimane have both of them. So yeah, OTV. She also launched her own talent management, RTS, which is a talent group. They help you find brand deals. They help you do your taxes. They help you do legal documents. They help you with advice on how to grow your content. And there's a lot of people under RTS. I think I saw the list. I'm gonna throw the list on screen right now. It's like over like 12 different creators. And this is Pokimane. So she goes out, she contacts these content creators that want to help grow their brands. She helps them with content ideas, I'm sure. Well, I don't know if content ideas, but she helps them with brand deals. Really the behind the scenes, like the numbers I want to say, and like the technicality of actually being a content creator besides the actual content itself. This is really smart because you can get your hands on the new generation of content creators. The industry is always changing. So if you can get somebody like Pokimane, who's been in the game for what, over a decade now, same with Valkyrae, to help you guide you on the changing tides of content, it's really smart for her, because when you make a business, first you want to determine what the need is. What does the world need? And you say, how can I supply that? And how can I price that efficiently? And how can I reach my target market? And this is really smart because content's only growing, right? Whether you're a streamer, a YouTuber, or an influencer on TikTok, you're going to have more and more people doing it. So if you get if you own a talent management group and you can really help these creators grow their platforms and take a percentage of whatever they make, or whatever you charge, whatever your rate you charge, this is very smart. This goes back to the High Studios point I made about Valkyrae, how there's a premium on creativity. So if you own a media production studios, it's even more valuable than it was, let's say 15 years ago when AI wasn't a thing. This is at a premium as well because content and content creators are only growing. So a talent management group would be way more valuable right now than it will be 15 years ago. Again, going back to that foresight and just seeing the way the world's going and how to build a business out of it. And obviously, this is a good example of that. All right, the last point for Pokimane Businesses will be brand deals. You're probably like, everybody gets the brand deals, and why is Pokimane special? This can actually apply for Valkyrae as well. Brand deals is actually more important or more of a talent for Valkyrae and Pokimane and just women in general. Because if you have a pretty clean digital footprint, and female content creators are not really much to clip farm, so you won't catch them saying something outlandish that would misrepresent your brand if you're sponsoring them. So because of that, it's probably so easy for them to get, not easy, but they probably have a higher chance of getting brand deals because of how clean and how professional and how statistically dominant their platforms are, Valkyrae and Pokimane. So I feel like brands are probably paying them more. And obviously, Pokimane has a talent management group that deals with how to get brand deals. So she probably knows how to negotiate with the best of them. And same with Valkyrae. Brand deals is probably a larger piece of the pie financially than probably other creators because of the numbers they get, how clean their platform is, and the demand for sponsorships. I feel like their brand deals, Pokimane and Valkyrae, are at more of a premium than other counterparts because of all the things I just listed. And I think it's really important to their business, and it's why they've lasted so long. And since we're talking about the women of Twitch that have good businesses, already made a video about Cutie, but I feel like this would be essential to the video. Cutie obviously has Deco, which is like a arts and craft shop where you can decorate your phone cases, you can decorate mirrors and all sorts of different things. It's Japanese inspired, I think. It's Asian inspired, I don't know for sure. Like, she opened her own storefront, and I don't know how many creators have done that. I don't know if Cutie's the first. I don't think she's the first, but she might be one of the first women to open her own storefront. And that's a really good business for the future. I think it's really creative. And I think it's very unique, and I think it's really cool as well. And also she has Streamer Awards. Like between OTV, Hi Studios, and Streamer Awards, those are all businesses that they could retire from streaming and have a business, like they have a backup plan, or they have something that they could put more eggs into that basket. Like let's say they all retired, like Pokimane could just pour into OTV or her talent management group. Valkyrae could really put all her focus in the Hi Studios if she wants to quit streaming, and Cutie Cinderella can just make events and do Streamer Awards if you wanted to. And obviously when it comes to business, longevity is the most important thing, whatever keeps you afloat. And those three things can keep them afloat outside of streaming. You know what I mean? So I wanted to mention that. I give Cutie a lot of flowers, and obviously I respect her a lot if you saw the genius behind Cutie Cinderella. But those three women, Valkyrae, Pokimane, and Cutie, all are great at business. I want to talk about why I think women actually have the advantage when it comes to businesses outside of content creation. They are no brand risk whatsoever. I already talked about how Valkyrae and Pokimane really don't have a really bad digital footprint because it's not really glorified for women in streaming. A lot of men who want to do content, clip farming, and doing something wild is kind of important because there's a lot of men streamers and content creators, and it's just a lot of competition. So you got to do something damn near outlandish early to get people's attention, i.e. Jason. Those videos are fucking wild. Luckily, you guys are doing nothing like derogatory or like, you know what I'm saying, hurtful to a group of people. He was being fucking disgusting and cringe, but you know, he's killing it right now. But yeah, since that's not really enforced with women content creators, since there's a little less competition than men, you don't have to do outlandish stuff to build an audience, I don't think. And because they usually have a cleaner digital footprint, they are more likely to get bigger brands to come in contact with them and reach them. And we're gonna talk about who I think is on the uprise when it comes to building a business portfolio outside Twitch, and why she can really be huge in the future. Reason number 2, new audience. There's a whole demographic out there of women gamers who are not gonna say like misrepresented, but don't get a lot of attention. And people like Valkyrae and Pokimane give attention to that group of people, and it opens a whole new market of business. Maybe women wanna buy PCs, women that wanna buy different products that are endorsed by their favorite female streamers. I think Cutie said that Twitch is 99% men. I don't know if that demographic still holds true today, but there's a large group of men on Twitch content creators. But there's a huge audience for females, and I think it's only growing with, you know, some of the girls from Streamer U, Valkyrae and Pokimane obviously doing their thing. And there's a lot of great female content creators out there. So there's a whole new audience, whole new demographic, and a whole new market to penetrate through these female content creators. Reason number 3, I think that women content creators are also retainable clients. What do I mean by that? I feel like if you work with Valkyrae, Pokimane, or some of these other female content creators, and more often than not, those brands want to reach back out to them. Men are privy to, you know, not being lazy, but hell, I would be too, bro. I'm not special. Men are privy to being more lazy and not as attentive to detail as women are naturally. And because of that, they might fuck up the relationship. But with women are more detail oriented, and I feel like they care a lot more than, you know, some men would. And because of that, those brands want to continue working with them. And that's why I feel like they have these long tenure relationships with brands, because they just do such a fantastic job. And i.e. Valkyrae got a sponsorship from Nintendo and got the Switch 2 early, and, you know, super hard to work with Nintendo. And because of the brand that Valkyrae's built, and she has a great platform and a clean footprint, she was able to work with Nintendo. So yeah, that's reason number 3. Okay, I want to talk about men versus women in business. You're probably thinking throughout this video, maybe you're like, you know, Aiden Ross is super rich, and obviously he owns equity in a percentage, and he profits off of Kick, which is the second biggest streaming platform, and is super successful. And you grab the guys like XQC, guys like Trainwrecks. I don't think that they're bad at business, right? But in Aiden's case, he owns Kick. And I think he has gamble money, which isn't really a lucrative business. And I'm sure he has properties, and he probably knows some pretty powerful people, I'd assume. So in to me, that's not really business savviness. I think Aiden was there as a flagship for recruitment to bring on different people, and it worked because it had Rage on there for an X amount of years. And I don't think that Aiden's making big executive decisions within Kick. He was just there to recruit, and they gave him equity for it. So obviously that was a smart move from him to get in Kick early and become investors in Kick. And what I'm saying is that, like, Aiden was smart, XOC was smart. Some of these guys are really smart in finding pockets to make a large profit, but they don't really have any long-standing businesses to me. I could be wrong, but you know, when it comes to these women like Trimmer Wood, Taha Studios, and OTK, these are businesses that will last a long time, has a low risk of like failing, and are really smart in the way that it makes its money. And for the men, it's more opportunistic, and how can I make this money in this period of time, if that makes sense. So that's why I think these women have the advantage here when it comes to business. I just have Senna. Senna is going to be a great example of why I think that females have a good future when it comes to making a lot of money outside of Twitch and being really business savvy. Obviously, Senna was on Netflix, and we're not sure what type of doors that could have opened, but you know, there's a lot of eyes on Netflix, and I'm sure there's a lot of opportunities she made through that show. She just went to Iceland. She's on Brotherhood, and she's getting more and more exposure. And Senna's a real sweetheart. Like, she's really wholesome, and obviously you would want her representing your brand, especially with the audience she has. And I think that Senna's probably going to be the next Valkyrae Pokimane type influencer soon, if she just keeps working hard and keep doing what she's doing. And Senna's a good example of like having a clean footprint, not like cliff farming, and building a real authentic fan base, and why she's going to be big soon. So yeah, Senna's going to be a case study for some of the picks I made previous. So I think she's going to prove me right. Lastly, I just thought of this. Women go through a lot of shit of being shipped and being sexualized and just being flat out a marginalized group, especially in streaming or content creation in general. So being business savvy is kind of a necessity if you want to last a long time and make a lot of money for your female creators. So they get a lot of shit most of the time. It's unwarranted. They do have the advantage in business, and I sincerely think that. I hope I persuaded you. And yeah, this is why I think that women are better at business than men in content, and especially on Twitch. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed that video. This is kind of different than our typical The Genius Behind, but I really enjoyed making it. I had a hard time trying to figure out how I want to format this video, so I hope it came out nice. But yeah, like I said in the intro, it's straight belt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not playing as far as this content stuff going. I'm on my grind. I know I took that last week off. I didn't really want to, but things happened. I went to see Beyonce. I posted on Instagram if y'all want to see those fit pics. My @ is the same @ that this is on, MattKaiser7. Took that week off. I took that week to plan content, so I got this whole next 5 weeks planned out for The Genius Behind, and have some other stuff planned. And I'm just gonna finish the year strong, because we have 5 months left this year, maybe 4 depending on when you see this, but I'm not playing around. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this Genius Behind. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Love you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.